What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason and this is Just Jason Keto. This week, instead of making a traditional chaffle, we're going to try something a little bit different. See how it works out. Hopefully it turns out as good as a lot of our chaffles. What we're going to do is we're going to make a Paneer Chaffle, but it's going to be stuffed with pickles basically. So these are just sandwich pickles. They're sliced, they're kosher dill. So what I've got here is I've got some Paneer cheese, and if you don't know what this is, it's a sort of hard cheese that's traditionally used as a grilling cheese. So you can throw it right in a pan and it'll grill up really nice and won't, melt and get really soft. So what I've done is I've sliced off a couple of pieces of this cheese, and you can see it's, 1/4 inch thick. And then what I did is I sort of cut off the edges and corners so that these will fit in the Dash Mini like that. So that's what this is the cut off pieces. Now I can just throw this into a small frying pan, grill them up, and they'd be great little appetizers kind of thing. And then once it's done, excuse me, we're going to brush some Frank's Red Hot sauce on them with some butter, just to make like a buffalo sauce kind of thing, just to kick it up a notch. So now with the pickles, one thing with whenever you're making something like this, the enemy of crispy is moisture. So pickles are, by nature, just a little sponge. They're going to soak up everything you put into them. So what I've done is I've taken one slice of these sandwich pickles, and I've just had them sitting between some paper towel here, just patting them dry, trying to get as much moisture out of them as possible. That way the moisture from the pickles doesn't transfer to the cheese too much. So now obviously you're only going to get so much of it out of there, but that's just a tip to make sure it doesn't get too much moisture in your chaffle. So what we'll do is we'll get the Dash Mini, or the Dash Mini multi-maker. If you haven't seen these before, these ones have the removable plates, makes it a lot easier to clean. We'll get this one heated up. We're only going to make one this week, but yeah, we'll get this preheated. Another tip, usually when this light goes out, it means it's preheated. We're going to let it sit for another good minute after that to make sure it's nice and warm, like nice and hot before we put our cheese into it. So let me get that set up and we'll start cooking. Now while the Dash Mini warms up, let's talk about what these could be used for. It could be a nice little snack, an appetizer for a meal. You could make them up and then you could make a nice dip with it. Some Greek yogurt with some seasoning in it, or like an aioli or whatever to dip them in. Paneer is a very mild cheese. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. The attraction to it is when you grill it, it really brings out the flavor of it. And if you don't know, things like Paneer are what they would call a squeaky cheese. So when you eat it, it's going to be, there's a squeak to it. So if that turns you off, using a dip would help calm that down a little bit. So that's just another tip. So again, I just wanted to sort of jump in here and explain what these could be used for. And then we'll give the Dash Mini another couple of minutes here and we should be good to go. Okay, so our Dash Mini is preheated plus some. Like I was saying earlier, we wanted to let it heat up as much as it possibly could. So I let it sit for another minute or so, and you can see by the steam coming out of it that it's nice and warmed up. So we're going to take our first piece of Paneer here and we're going to set it right down in the bottom. Now I made sure it would fit into the ring of the Dash Mini, and then we're going to take our slice of pickle here, try and keep it sort of inside the perimeter of our Paneer, just like that. And then we're going to take our other piece. I cut one and then trace the other one out to try and make it even. So we're going to put that on top. Now this, as you might be able to see, is fairly thick, and the Dash Mini doesn't have a moving hinge on it. So what we're going to want to do when we close it is we're going to want to Put some pressure on it for a little while, or for a few seconds, just to try and sort of get that cheese worked into the grooves of the Dash Mini. It shouldn't take too long and you'll feel it come down. Now with this recipe, typically a chaffle only takes 4, maybe 5 minutes at the most to cook. This we're going to leave in for probably anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes because we're looking for a crispy outside of the cheese. So we just want to leave it in there a bit longer. So as you can see, it is clamped down there fairly well. Might just hold on to it for a little bit longer, but we'll let this cook away and then I'll bring you back when it's done. So another thing I wanted to say about this recipe is you could probably do this same thing with halloumi. Halloumi is another grilling cheese that's great for stuff like this. So just another tip. Again, this is just a basic recipe. There's all sorts of things you could be putting in or on top of this. You could put some everything bagel seasoning in the middle. If you didn't want pickle, you could put a piece of ham in there, make it a ham and cheese kind of thing. Sky's the limit, really. Just like any of my recipes, really all we're trying to do is come up with the basic idea, and then what I want you to do is make it your own and put your own ingredients in it, put what you like in it. Basically, these recipes aren't set in stone by any means. I want you to make what you enjoy with this kind of stuff. So a couple more minutes and we'll open this up and check it out. Our Paneer Chaffle is almost ready, so while we wait for it, I'm going to melt up some butter and Frank's Red Hot sauce that we can brush on the top of it. So we'll do that while we're waiting. Okay, so time for the big reveal. The Paneer Chaffle has been in the Dash Mini for probably about 6 minutes now, so let's see how it turned out. That looks like a pretty nice looking waffle. It's nice and golden brown, and it's actually round after we put it through the waffle iron. So let's get it out of here. What we're going to do, you can see the texture is nice and crisp on the outside. We're going to put this aside on a wire rack to cool off just a little bit kind of thing. Let's check the bottom. Looks just as good, and I can see that pickle coming through. So yeah, that looks really good. So we'll put this aside to just to cool off for a couple minutes, and then we'll brush it with our buffalo sauce and we'll give it a try. So our Paneer Chaffle has been resting for a couple of minutes. As you can see, it's nice and sealed up there. Pretty much you could pull it apart fairly easily, but it is one piece. You can see the pickle sticking out that side there. So let's cut this open here. We'll just cut it across the pickles here. Just like that. And as you can see, it's nice and creamy on the inside. A good layer of pickles. So put that aside on our board here. And then I've got some butter and Frank's Red Hot sauce here because I like spicy things like this. Again, if you don't want to add this, then it's all up to you. If you want to make it even spicier, then I encourage that as well. So all we're going to do is we're going to brush that on the top a little bit, just like that. Both sides. So that should give it a really nice flavor. Like I say, I think I would almost say that this one is even more of a chaffle than what we usually do. Because really all it is cheese, right? It is the definition of a chaffle altogether, really. What is a chaffle? It's a cheese waffle. And this is definitely a cheese waffle. So we'll give this a try and see if it was worth the time making. Yep, so that has a really good texture, great flavor with the pickle and the hot sauce. Now, like I was saying earlier, paneer is not a super flavorful cheese, so I would definitely encourage you to add any kind of spices you want to something like this. And everything bagel seasoning would really kick this up a notch. You could put it on right now and make it even better kind of thing. So lots of options with this. It's a blank canvas, so to speak. So hopefully you enjoyed this little different video this week. It's not your typical chaffle, but like I was saying, I would still definitely consider this a chaffle. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss next week's video when we may come up with something like this or go back to making a good old-fashioned chaffle recipe. So until next time, keep on thriving, my friends.